So on this video, second video, now I'm going to mention some upgrades that goes beyond just modifying the exterior of the engine with, a bigger intake manifold, bigger exhaust manifold, slightly improvement. Even another thing too to say with these stock manifolds, I guess they tend to crack. So this will avoid that. And I don't know, some people prefer BD. I prefer BD, but some other people prefer the other brands and said, oh, these ones are not as good. But I don't know. I think it's a personal opinion. But personally, but any manifold up there that you would prefer, definitely a good decision to do. And especially if you want to upgrade your turbo eventually, this is an excellent upgrade to do and helps to spool up the turbo anyways. So, and also with this coolant bypass to put on the rear of the block, definitely an excellent idea. Or go with the just go to an auto parts store and get a pressure valve installed on your head. And there's some videos on that or some online forums on that. So anyways, things you should do maybe at the same time as you do a whole build like I am, because due to a ring failure, as I shown on the first video. So so first thing first, I could discuss what you can do for major improvement is actually, here we have the S-cam, or not S-cam, sorry, the camshaft. I'm a heavy duty mechanic, so I always get mixed up with the cams there. But anyways, this camshaft here, actually this is my stock one, but I just sent it into Colt Cams and they ground it down to a stage 2, which is the maximum for the common rail camshafts. But what they do is they're able to achieve, by grinding the lobes down, but allowing them to be open the valves for more longer periods. Hence, what it will do is if you have a longer period of intake, the valve is open in the intake a little longer, then it's able to breathe in more air. And vice versa with the exhaust valve. If it's open longer, well, then it'll get those combustion gases out. So they say it really helps in lowering your EGTs, better fuel mileage, and also better low end power. And along with that, it's really recommended to change your tappets. And Colt Cams, they have their own design of tappets, much better improvement, slightly longer to compensate the loss of height. But again, remember, they ground it down. It doesn't have a height like the original, but they design it so that it actually, the lobe, the way it's grooved, so it's actually open longer. So anyways, get these at the same time. They're slightly smaller head than the stock, but they really say that these are way better than the stock. And they found out that I guess the stock ones, they're the stock tappets from Cummins, well, they're coming from China. So and I guess they tend to not last very long, but these, you're guaranteed longevity. And really recommended, get some good assembly lube. This is from Amsoil. Very tacky stuff. Anything that's very tacky and it sticks, avoid this white grease. I have it here just to show. Don't get crappy white grease. That it's crap. Anyways, that's my personal opinion. Oh, and Colt Cam said to mix this with any lube that has high zinc in it. So they say to squeeze out some assembly lube and mix, and then put some high zinc oil, mix it up, and then smear it all over the camshaft and on the tappets. And that high zinc will give it an extra, even better protection, and it'll help to clean on it. So another additional idea, but I don't have any high zinc additive here yet. It's coming in the mail there from ZDDP Plus product. You could look online. I guess Colt Cams swear by it, so they say that's really recommended. But definitely, if you have the engine apart like this, definitely consider this as an option. You can get bigger, you can get better camshafts, you know, up to a stage 3, but unfortunately this can't, my common rails cannot be grinded down to that, grounded down to, or grounded to a stage 3. Only the older 24 valve Cummins could get grounded to a stage 3 maximum, and they call it the big stick. So but I thought simply stage 2 is perfect for me, and then they actually have, they can sell you a brand new one that they themselves built their billet or something like that. Anyways, this is an excellent option, and to really help to keep the engine run cool and avoid ring failure, just as I showed. Oh, other additional thing, this is as I showed on the other video, because of these pistons, because of the bowl on these 04.5 and up to 07, they have this larger piston bowl. If you go to 03, 04, it's much smaller piston bowl, and supposedly it does really reduce the effects on the ring, less ring failure on those ones typically. Doesn't mean that it'll avoid it absolutely, but definitely will reduce the chances of that to happen on a 03, 04 piston. Well, unfortunately for myself, I still stick to these to the originals, just because that if you're gonna change, if you do want to go to an 03, 04 piston, you do need to change your injectors. Again, the reason why Cummins has gone with a larger bowl piston is because of emission reasons, and they had to make the injector nozzles to obviously combust in that kind of bowl size. So if you're gonna get you can get the 03, 04 pistons, but you need to swap out your injectors to an 03, 04. So if you haven't changed your injectors on your engine, then that'd be your chance to order up new 03, 04 pistons along with new or remanned 03, 04 injectors. And these injectors are still the 04.5 and up injectors. These are remans I bought a year ago, installed on the motor. I know a lot of people are very cautious about getting remans, but I like these ones because they are reman from Bosch. Even there, people still complain about the reman Bosch and all that. They say, oh, it's no good, da da da. Well, I don't know. I never had any problems at all using their remans. I would avoid the other kind of remans, but anyways, something to think about. And also, anyways, on this engine too, I had the high pressure pump tested from the guys that I bought these injectors from. They tested it and they said it was at the lowest minimum spec, and I guess seals were dry inside, so they rebuilt it for quite expensive, $800 to get one of these reman, and actually send my injectors back to them. I thought maybe the rumors were right, maybe the reman injectors might have caused some of the heat issues maybe I had there, but they passed test and they were great. They were in great shape still, and they're only a year-old remans. So it was not because of the injectors that my rings failed. So maybe I had some problems before. I know that. Again, a common problem why injectors get issues with is because of the crappy fuel filter that actually Mopar, it's not so much Cummins, Mopar puts in here a 7 micron filter, where the common rail really needs a 2 micron filter. So there are kits available for better filtration, really recommended. Don't stick to these ones because to this, I mean, obviously do your own fuel filter changes frequently, at least every oil change, but don't rely on this to filter out. Do go with the upgrades. And actually Glacier Diesel, who who created the plenum here. This guy. Well, that company really built some nice fuel filtration units there that you can add to your truck. So something you should think about. Okay, so next thing I wanted to show is the next upgrade that you can do when the block is out. Well, I don't know if you can see here. Well, the lighting is kind of crappy. Well, anyways, you see there's a hole here, right? If I get the injector nozzle, the cooling nozzle. So here on these 4.5 and up, they actually upgraded to a J-jet. So it goes right here. Anyways, as you can see, that's what the style that Cummins went with afterwards. Nothing wrong with these, but I guess what DFC Diesel, who built Reman engines, what they actually do is they actually add extra nozzle. And how do they do that? Well, on these old 4.5 blocks and up, well, I guess on the casting they still kept these original holes, and as you can see here, I've got an 0304 cooling nozzle, and actually what DFC do is they run these nozzle and these nozzles, and they say that it makes an improvement in keeping the pistons cool and less ring failures, but also avoids melting pistons. A lot of controversy, a lot of people dislike the idea because you would lose oil pressure. So I did text or email DFC to find out what is their, how do they know that it will not lower the, well, or how much does it lower the oil pressure? Well, they say about 5 psi if you install these nozzles all across the block. So anyways, 5 psi is a bit much for me. I don't know. But so I just decided to get one here, and actually I got another nozzle I'm going to be installing here for 5 and 6, because those are the pistons that really tend to fail on these trucks and all that. And here's an example of a nozzle that you can install. But yeah, on the 04 and 04.5 and up, all they did is they put these little plugs here, and then they went to the J-jet style. Funny fact, if you have an 0304 block, well, it'll have these with the nozzle, but it probably won't have those. Well, in my Cummins service manual, it says that you could get machined to have these oil holes installed, and you can actually install these instead, and they recommend to plug those again because you don't want to lose too much oil pressure. But DFC say, you know what, no, it's a really good idea, and it surpasses the they didn't have any problems, and I trust them. I would have probably done all of it, but you know what, no, for myself I just decided I'm just going to do these two, and I'm running just a chip and not a whole lot of horsepower on this truck. So but if you're doing higher horsepower, it's your decision if you want to go ahead and install a whole bunch of nozzles like they would. So anyways, that's one major thing you can do to help keep these back of this block cooler and your pistons cooler and avoid ring failure. So anyways, those are just simple things you can do while you have it all apart like that. Really recommended. That coolant bypass system, definitely, just that alone will, I think it'll definitely help these engines. So, but this is all to achieve to keep this back of this block cooler, let the engine breathe better, let it exhaust better, and you know, it'll just keep that engine nice and cool. And these are just upgrades you can really do. I mean, it does cost a lot of money, but anyways, it's an excellent option. So hopefully this video is helpful, and I'll be showing a video of how to put this whole engine together with all the torque specs. See you soon.